Yanagi isn't weak, but her kit is holding her back. Let me explain. Since 2.x release, almost all of the DA bosses or enemies in the game started to have a higher anomaly buildup. This anomaly buildup makes it so that the anomaly agent, or any agent in the game, needs more actions to fill up that anomaly bar to proc an anomaly status. Because of this change, it made it extremely harder, or required more time, for anomaly agents to proc their anomalies. This was before Yuzaha dropped, which made it very significantly clear that most people had to start running anomaly mastery on disc 6. The prime example of Miyabi. Since a lot of enemies were resisting ice and enemies started to have anomaly buildup, most Miyabi people who were on attack 6 switched to anomaly mastery to get that anomaly proc. That's just a very clear example of this affecting people. 2.1 is when Yuzaha dropped, and during this time, Hoya was trying to sell a solution to everyone. If you pulled for Yuzaha, she has the ability to increase anomaly buildup and to do aftershocks to do anomaly buildup of any attribute you choose, well, of a targeted ally in your team. This was the solution for almost all the anomalies at the time. Because of the anomaly buildup change, it essentially forced players into needing Yuzaha to get a higher anomaly buildup. With that in mind, that didn't stop the devs from creating bosses that were anti-anomaly or against anomaly agents. A lot of bosses started having more anomaly buildup, or even Masvic shields that straight up just didn't allow you to build anomaly as fast, or in the extreme case, not at all, like from the Thrall, which this led to a shift, a quiet shift that I don't think most people talk about. I would say confidently at this moment that most anomaly teams, in DA specifically, are played like a hypercarry team, where there's a support, either a stun or another support, and an anomaly agent themselves. For example, one of the most popular teams is Yuzu Ice, with Miyabi, Sakaku, and Yuzaha. This shift happened because it's a lot harder for two anomaly agents to build up their anomaly rather than just one anomaly agent to build up an anomaly. Like I said, the change made it really hard for anomaly agents to build up their anomalies. This made a disorder playstyle a lot weaker, specifically if you didn't have Yuzu or a highly invested Yuzu, like with her signature double engine, M1 and M2 and so on. Because of how disorder works, it takes how long your anomaly was on the enemy and the new anomaly together to make higher damage. So the quicker you proc an anomaly on top of each other, the more damage you do. However, with the design of Season 2 bosses, the famous example is Defiler or Fiend. Even if you proc an anomaly on them, if they go into their miasmic phase, the anomaly is essentially gone, or most of the damage is gone. So you have to restart, and that takes a lot of time, especially with the anomaly build-up change. This makes the disorder playstyle a lot less effective, which is why we see most anomaly agents, or just the player base, switch to a more hypercarry focus. Even if it's reset, they can still do damage and get up to where they was at before. This all relates back to how Yanagi is being played, or not being played. Because of the anomaly build-up change, most people don't even think about playing Yanagi in DA. Or, well, as of lately, at all, because of the changes to anomaly buildup and how teams and people are playing the game with anomaly, is essentially making the disorder playstyle less favorable than just running a hypercarry team or a support stun and anomaly team. What I'm trying to get at, it's a lot more efficient and effective to play this way as an anomaly agent. Because of this, you're able to get higher scores. You're not as effective by the 2.0 direction changes of bosses, what makes it really easier to get higher scores. So how does this all relate back to Yanagi? Well, her kit is kind of designed to work with other anomalies and to proc disorders. She has a debuff that allows disorders to have a lot more value, but if you can never do that, then she's essentially not doing her job because of the 2.0 boss design. The greatest example of this, which I faced, is the Primordial Nightmare. This boss absolutely sucks for Yanagi. Even in a dual DPS team, the boss flies around way too much. The miasmic shield pops out way too much, so it reduces your damage. And she has a flat 30% anomaly damage reduction. Very fun. Very fun indeed. So I was resorted on my friend's free-to-play account to play Yanagi Hypercarry team, which it's still not good because of how the boss is designed, which this goes into the case of matchups, but I'm not going to detail for that. And because of how our kit's designed, my friend on the very same account that you see me use all the time, he's even played Grace. She's M0, has Fusion Compiler, and is phase 6 or potential 6. He used the exact same team I did, and he got a 20k on the same boss that I did with Yanagi. Now granted, I don't have the recording or screenshot of it, but he told me in his own words he got the 20k to prove a point to someone else in Discord. But I absolutely believe him, and this set me in a disarray about maybe I was just bad at the game, or maybe it was like something else with myself. But I think I finally accepted it when I look back at Pride 1's tier list. Now, I don't usually talk about Pride 1's tier list on this channel, but this is kind of important to the discussion. As of today, or when 2.5 dropped, they moved Yanagi from tier 0.5 to tier 1. Yanagi, as the main carry in the anomaly team, has struggled to perform up to par, with limited lineups in which she could do well. Her polarity disorder and general team flexibility held up her scores, but this is often a result of her being held up by her partner rather than being a significant value add. To be clear, she is still a decent character and arguably deserves a place in a hypothetical tier 0.75, but has fallen behind to a tier 1 placement. As much as I didn't want to believe them, they are kind of right. Her kit is designed to work with disorder, but the bosses they've been releasing counter this specific strategy, and her as a hypercarry is not as strong as Miyabi and Alice. And I already knew Alice was stronger than Yanagi. I never said that she wasn't, but Alice doesn't benefit the disorder playstyle. Yanagi does. But in the environment we are in, disorder is just not a mainstay, or is significantly weaker than just a hypercarry setup. Now, what could the devs do, or what could we do as a player base to overcome this? Well, there's two routes. One, they do absolutely nothing. They just leave her and make another disorder character and just put her in a shot with Jane. That doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that like her time is up, like it's over. Or, which most people don't really think so, Hoyo could buff her. How to go about buffing her? Well, it took me a long time to think about what changes they could make to Yanagi to make her seem better on field as a DPS, especially in the current environment. And a lot of people think she doesn't need buffs. Well, at the moment, I agree. She doesn't need them, but I think in the future, if we're going towards a more hypercarry anomaly style, then she's gonna obviously fall behind, just like Jane and Bernice were. The main issue that draws from Yanagi to Miyabi and Alice is that she doesn't have a free resource to build anomaly. Miyabi has her enhanced base attack with her Shumatsuki, and Alice has her EBA to proc a polarized assault. Most of Yanagi's damage is their EX, her ultimate, and raw disorder from base attacks or whatever, which does not keep up in today's age of anomaly resistant bosses, or bosses that do something else that counter anomaly in some way. So I propose that they just give her a EBA or something she could build towards in the fight. I don't know what it is, I don't know what the move could be, but something that gives her another added layer. Now, as much as I don't like, oh, hold EBA to do something, they've been doing that for almost every single character, or some type of second gauge so they can actually do a mechanic. So at this point, they might as well just add it for Yanagi as well. This move, once you've done like enough polarity disorders, kind of like how Miyabi does, she should be able to like fill up the anomaly bar fast enough while proccing a polarity disorder. I don't know how they'll do it, but they could do it. It's Hoyo. They've done it a lot, and they even added Grace of Blooms. Another change I think they should do is increase her disorder multiplier, because 250 seems way too low in today's age. With bosses with millions and millions of HP, I think if they simply increase it to a higher amount above 250, I think she will have a lot more influence in disorder teams. One of them is Well, updating her additional ability. Her additional ability right now is after she switches stances and when Yanagi hits an enemy with a base hit attack, her electric buildup is increased by 45% for 8 seconds. That's all the additional ability does, and I think it's kind of weak, and it's strong, don't get me wrong, but I think it could do something else with this additional ability. I think for one, instead of anomaly and same attribute, I think they should add support just to flex out her teams, because most nowadays anomaly will always run Yuzu, so allow her to not have her additional ability without Yuzu is pretty awful. You always resort to either neither another anomaly agent or same attribute, which, well, in the case of a hypercarry Nagi team, it's pretty much just Trigger Arena or sometimes Seth, but your options are limited. And the wild thing about her additional ability, which granted, I think they would just do this for a future support agent, but if they're gonna make Yanagi the Disorder Queen, they give her this ability. Increase the duration of any attribute anomaly inflicted on enemies by any character by 7 or 5 seconds. That's all. I think if Yanagi supported the Disorder playstyle this way, for one, it will not only help the better agents in the game, but it'll help agents who aren't as strong, and she could benefit from that. Increasing the duration of any anomaly, if they're under maybe her debuff, will allow her to not only deal more damage, but allow her allies to deal more damage, and she's supporting that. I'm not really sure what else I could really do, but at her core issues, I think giving her an EVA, change her additional ability, and increasing her disorder damage multipliers from her debuffs will absolutely help this character. Now they could do more or do nothing, but that's just what I hope. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the Disorder playstyle is going down in favor, or would you rather just run hypercarry anomaly teams? And if you were to buff Yanagi, what would you buff? Because I already have my favorites, and you guys too. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe, and I am signing off.